such a sweet thing. Life on the big screen, it's such a beautiful scene, yeah.
Welcome to the kitchen.
We're in the kitchen. We're actually in a spot.
Check this place out.
Look at this.
This place is crazy.
We
got 3 cameras. 1, 2, 3.
we decided to invest in this because it's
Yeah,
we miss being by each other.
we do.
Remote's fun, but and we have a third camera angle. You can see that now.
You can see us touch.
No, it's fun doing remote. But in person is just
So much better.
It really is.
Yeah. Trying
Yeah.
to cover up the sponsors. I didn't realize that they had sponsor tags.
Oh yeah, I guess
This is
sponsored
not our
by-
studio. Not
Not
yet.
yet. Not yet. But yeah, so we have some buddies.
Yeah.
They own this place, and so we're testing it out today. So we
Yeah.
might be doing a lot more here.
Mitchell Thane owns this production company. If you guys don't follow Mitchell Thane, we'll link him below because he's awesome. But he runs Film Lab, this
Mhm.
production company, and has this amazing studio. He also makes the coolest production job shadows, I think, on the tube.
Yeah.
Like
Their
the
whole brand.
coolest thing. Yeah, their whole brand is just amazing.
So cool.
Yeah,
So that's where we're at today.
yeah. So we're here today.
We're in the kitchen.
If you guys like this setup, let us know, and we'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
But if you
Really
don't,
like-
we have 3 episodes coming up in this setup. So,
So bear with it.
but I think we're gonna move forward with doing this every single time because it's nice being in
It is
person.
nice.
Good
It
to
is
see
good.
you,
It's good to see you.
touch you,
Be in your presence.
react to you,
React to you.
Yeah.
You just can't fake that over
No.
remote. You know.
and it feels nice to actually feel like you're at work,
Yeah.
not just.
Yeah.
Cause I'm really wearing pants when we do the podcast, so it's kind of
I
nice to
know.
like.
I put on pants too. It's like, yeah, when you wear sweatpants and you're
Yeah.
remote, you're just like,
Oh.
I think. Oh, you're talking
No.
no pants or no pants. Yeah, yeah. I rock with that too.
Hey, I'm on the phone with Nate sometimes.
Hey, sometimes the
No
pants come
pants.
off. Yeah.
The pants
Sometimes
come
the
off.
pants are on and they just
Sorry,
come off.
Cherish. Our only listener who watches our podcast.
We love you, Cherish.
No. So yeah, okay. Today, well, first off, order of business.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't picked up your tickets to Morocco, please come join us in Morocco. We have some tickets left. Please, we'd love to join you. It's next year. Small deposit to lock in your spot, and then payment plan next year. It's gonna be amazing. So,
Mhm.
link below. Learn more about that. That's all the announcements I have. It's just that one.
I brought the Dublin, Ireland sweatshirts.
Oh.
And I'm not wearing it. I forgot. But they're over there.
Well, we're in the next episode.
Anyway, yeah. We're going to Ireland next month.
Yep.
And then, yeah, we're going to Morocco the next year.
Uh-huh.
Because we're doing things with Emma K Films, with the Wedding Filmmaker Workshop. And we're stoked for it.
Yeah.
We're stoked. It's going to be some awesome content you get
Yeah.
from that.
Ireland will be Jane Mack and Russell
Russell.
Kent.
Yep.
And just stoked. And then next year, 31 Films and Will Sarmiento. 2 of our favorite people in the entire world. So
Besides
Please join
Shane
us.
Mack and Russell. Besides Shane Mack and Russell.
4 of our favorite people in the entire world. Well, Emma too.
And Emma.
And all the photographers
And Courtney.
involved.
And Hannah.
Courtney and Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, how you doing, Jake?
Doing fine.
What day is
Trying
it?
to
Monday?
think. Yeah, had a great weekend. Family was in town.
Yeah.
We blessed Amelia, did a christening, I guess you could call it.
Mhm.
Is that what you call it? I think so.
Yeah.
But a baby blessing in our church. Did that in our
Yeah.
home yesterday. Awesome.
Had some barbecue after.
Yeah, had some decent barbecue. It was fine. A little expensive. I'm going under because of it, but it was good. And I never see my family.
Yeah.
And so I loved having everyone together and my friends. Like it was like I never
Yeah.
get to see my in-laws who I love, my family who I love, and my friends all in the same room.
Every friend that you
No one was
possibly
missing.
could have that you probably
No one was missing.
ever could have imagined
Yeah.
is actually important
No.
was there. Yeah.
I had Nate and Sam. My friend list is actually very short. So yeah, but it was great.
Yeah.
Can't think of anybody I'd want there.
No, absolutely
wasn't.
nobody was missing.
Yeah. So
Nobody.
but it was a great weekend. Before that, on Saturday, I think we just hung out with the family.
Yeah. I was looking at our calendar for the next like 10 weeks. We're weekends. We're pretty busy.
It's depressing.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not
I
excited
went into
about
a
it.
little bit of a depression last night. I was just
Yeah.
like, man, I love working, love the stuff, but I've been thinking about camping lately because it's
Yeah.
prime Utah
Give up
weather.
another weekend.
I know it's prime Utah weather.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm going to go camping.
But Kayla wouldn't go camping.
No, she would. That's
You're
the most
serious?
recent development. She went on a manager retreat to St. George with her.
Glamping or camping.
More toward if it's a scale.
Like go get a
okay.
cabin in the woods and
No,
then do
no,
some
like actually go.
excursions.
No, like
or
go
get a tent.
a tent.
Sleep in a sleeping bag.
Yeah, but like
with
a
no
nice
running
tent.
water.
That.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why I was surprised too. And I just got to run with it and act fast because she went on a manager
Lock it in.
retreat with her work. And she has like 2 coworkers that are big campers and they sold her on it. And this whole time I've been like, hey, we need to go camping, this and that. And she's like, yeah, I don't want to. You know, it's harder for a girl to go camping.
It is.
But her 2 friends really sold her on it. And
Wow.
so I got to act quick.
I think camping's out of the cards for me.
It
My
kind of
wife,
is. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
years.
It kind of is.
Glamping, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, it's out of the cards for you because Amelia, you have a
Kenzie
baby,
just
right?
wants running water, not an outdoorsy girly.
Right.
So
Right.
glamping for sure.
Glamping. Yeah. Yeah.
Camping trip with the boys though.
Well, yeah. Would you ever be able to do just like a
Yeah.
boys, just like an overnight?
Speaking of being gone on weekends, are we about to book our spare weekend, a boys trip?
I think so.
Camping trip?
Maybe a nice Friday, Saturday. Hey, we can just go
Get
like
divorced.
we can just go out to like Utah Lake, just the other side.
Sorry guys, I still have a cough. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still like kind of
Yeah.
sick.
Still recovering.
We're still so
Yeah. It's actually the real reason we're in here. We're being quarantined for 2 weeks in this room.
we haven't left this room.
Well, so you should go camping with Kayla.
When?
I would love to hear those stories.
But that's the issue is
What would you
we're
eat?
gone.
Oh yeah.
What would I eat?
We'll do like a Sunday to Tuesday thing or Monday, like an overnight.
Maybe a little weekday.
Yeah.
But did you ask what would I eat?
Yeah.
It's the tinfoil dinner, baby.
Okay, Kayla would be cool with like steak and
Oh, yeah,
potatoes.
yeah. Or I'd bring my little my Blackstone griddle, little table,
Uh-huh.
grill up some steaks.
Would you hike to a camping spot?
Probably not.
Are you talking like, okay. Yeah.
Probably somewhere where they like drive and then you could
Yeah.
like offload
Gotcha.
relatively close.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why I want like a nice 4-wheeler or
Yeah.
not 4-wheeler.
4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like what Nate Taylor used to have.
yeah.
Just like with the setup and everything.
Before it caught on fire
Yeah,
because he had fireworks.
one of our
in the
buddies
back.
put fireworks in the back of his truck in the salt flats. One was still hot, and they drove away, and his truck exploded.
Like legit. When I heard that story, I was like, oh yeah, probably like burned the bed of the truck. No, it's actually it burned the truck whole.
Yeah.
It's
I
gone.
don't even know if he wants this story to be public because he
Well,
hasn't posted about it, but we heard from our intern who was freelancing with him.
We'll try to get the video.
We'll clip it. Yeah, we'll clip it and make it a post about it.
His whole truck just blew up.
Yeah.
It just
Not
on
just
fire.
like blow up, but like out in the middle of the salt flats, which you're still 2 hours from home. So there's still a 2-hour drive you have to do somehow
Yeah.
after that. So
man, I just realized like the salt flats have a history of just
killing
ruining cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our buddy Sam,
I would say Sam killed his car.
Sam did kill his car. Yeah.
Sam kind of sucks at driving.
If you listen to our very first ever podcast episode, we talked about our workshop. And part of that workshop was we had this car fall through because there was some rain and they wouldn't even drive it on the salt flats, understandably, because rust. So we got one of our friends who has a Datsun. It's been in the shop for probably a year.
Yeah.
Because he took it to the flats, did the job, got decorated with florals. It looked great. Got some great stuff.
Yeah.
And then Sam just got gassed up into just doing donuts and just pedal to the metal at the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Probably his first time driving like stick as well. It sounded like no, but
He ruined
never
his car.
did anything like that before with a
Right.
car.
Right. And he was trying to like throw donuts and
Didn't
everything.
respect it.
Didn't respect it at
Great
all.
shots though.
Awesome shots.
Never saw them posted, but
Everyone was happy about it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he left the flats, his car just broke down and we haven't
Yeah.
seen his car since.
and we had to like get back to host the attendees, so we just kind of left him there.
Sorry, Sam. That sucks, dude. But yeah, that was a year ago and it's still in the shop.
Yeah.
But here he is, like 40 grand more
Yeah, I think he's
into it.
going into crippling debt to fix it this month.
He paid off a credit card to get
to
another credit
max
card.
it out on this car. Anyway,
Yeah.
all to say we're here in the podcast
All
studio.
to say, we're excited about this.
Yeah, we're going to kick it off with some more stories written by you. And again, you guys, these are our last 2 stories we have submitted. So if you want to be heard on our podcast, submit your worst, please, your worst, cringiest, most embarrassing professional wedding story. No matter how you're related to weddings, groom, bride, vendor, please submit your story. It's anonymous, and we will read it, react to it. And I can't help but notice that we get less submissions every episode because we're so rude
If we're,
about the person who submitted.
if we're rude to you, just know it's a sign of our love and affection.
And it's honestly just clickbait trying to get content.
If we didn't say anything, I would be more worried if we didn't say anything.
Yeah,
But please, sentence structure.
that's all we ask.
That's all we ask.
All right, I'm going to let, since you speak Spanish, I'll let you take the first one.
Okay. Even though it's in English.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe
You saw the word
maybe
Mexico.
there's some cultural.
Yeah, you saw the word Mexico.
Maybe there's some cultural things that I can't relate
even
to.
though
that you
I
like.
lived in Bolivia, it's pretty different than Mexico.
Well, the next one's a
but hey.
15-year-old story, so I'm like, well, I'm kind of
Yes.
childish. This could work out pretty well.
All right. I guess I'll read the story from a guy from Mexico. Okay. This is from a videographer. Awkward moments. Okay, it says, well, I'm from Mexico, actually. Crossing the border from Del Rio, Texas.
Is this an illegal immigration
No,
story?
I'm going to fill in the gaps here. I assumed he meant to say, I'm across the border from Del Rio, Texas, not crossing the border actively. That's just what I'm assuming. We don't have to get political here.
But maybe you should go back to your own country. I'm joking. I'm joking.
And this is our last episode we'll ever do. Jake took us all down with him. So I'm from Mexico, actually across the border from Del Rio, Texas. So I used to work for this photographer as the videographer, getting paid like $40 for the whole day from 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. That's only 3 hours. I'm assuming 11 a.m. till 2 a.m.
Wait. Okay.
$40.
I'm the videographer.
$40 for the
I
whole
work
day.
photographer. I'm getting paid $40 for the whole day from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m.
I think 11 a.m.
I think he meant 11 a.m.
I think so. We can confidently say that. I'm giving you all this info to give you a background. So this wedding was one of the most important of the whole city. We finished the getting ready of the bride and the groom, and we went to get ready for the ceremony. As we are because we're doing a documentary of the whole wedding. The ceremony was supposed to be at 8 p.m., so the whole team was ready since 5 p.m.
Wow.
And we felt kind of weird because nobody ever gets ready at 8 p.m.
Nobody has the ceremony at 8 p.m.
Yeah. They're supposed to be there at 6, but since it was one of the most important people from the city, we thought it may be an exception. And the photographer then got the call. Oh, dear. The photographer got the call, and they said, are you coming to the reception since you didn't show up to the ceremony? The face of the photographer drops. The whole way to the reception was full of stress. When we arrived there, everyone just started to yell at us.
In Spanish.
Since then, I think I got this stress where I make sure that events I have for the month, and I check the times and make sure that I have everything ready. P.S. I hope one day I can work as a second shooter for you guys. I would love to learn from you guys. Well, thank you. We'd
Not
love
if you
to
miss
have-
ceremonies,
Yeah,
you won't.
if you make it to the ceremony, dude.
That's crazy. I'm curious what time the ceremony actually was.
Maybe 8 a.m. instead of 8 p.m. Because 8 p.m. is a little late.
Oh, I think that's what he meant. I think when he says, he's like, why would it be at 8? It's usually supposed to be at 6. So they were waiting until 8, but it was at 6. I think that's what he meant to say. And not that they're supposed to be at 6. But since it was the most important person from the city, we thought, exception, it's at 8 for whatever reason. So they were just, my favorite part is that there's this team of guys.
They're just shooting the
And
breeze.
it's like, man, this is the wedding of their career.
This is
It's
it.
5 o'clock. Like, man, okay. Got
Most
3 hours to
Most
chill.
important of the city right here.
Should we shoot some more B-roll? Oh, what should we do? And all the while, there's just guests. I hope it was like the mayor or something.
Wait, so was it unclear to me? Were they at like a different wedding? They weren't at like a
No, I
different
think
space.
they were just waiting.
Just different
Yeah,
times?
Probably different location.
There's probably like a huge gap
Yeah.
between the ceremony and the reception. And they were just there,
Yeah.
just completely missed the ceremony.
But then here's my next question. If you're there at 11 a.m., does that not come up in 6 hours?
You want?
What time the ceremony
My
is?
first impression would say yes.
Right?
Right. How did they miss it?
And then did you, a lot of things. A lot to talk about on our last episode, which actually was, we should have read this last week because all of our last episodes were about missing weddings.
Yeah.
Every single submission was about this exact scenario. You want to make sure, even the week before, in the day before, that you're double checking with somebody, not what you have in on your paper, but like with somebody. Hey, just double checking. Is this the correct timeline of the day before you show up? Because things like this can happen. I want to see what those guests were yelling. That's so funny to me. What a text! My heart would drop
Just
if
to
that
show
text
up and they're
came
just yelling at you.
through. Yeah.
$40 for the whole day. Let's also start there.
What do you think? Wow. Please come to our
Come on,
country.
man.
Across the border.
You gotta respect
Do you think it
yourself.
was an
a little
hour?
more. He made it sound like a whole day.
You're right.
He said $40 for the whole day, and that's not an English to Spanish
There's also-
mistranslation.
yeah. Don't ever work for $40 for a day.
You should be at least $40 an hour.
Yeah.
Like that should be your rate.
What do you think it's like in Mexico though?
I don't
I
know.
mean, we got paid. Is this arrogant to say? Paid pretty well to go to Mexico.
But they were a U.S. client.
But this is
Not to say that, not to say that the most important person in Mexico is not more wealthy than just the average U.S. person.
right. Money
But-
doesn't mean importance.
Right. No.
They could be like a religious leader.
But the fault here, they were working for someone else, it sounded like.
Yeah, the photographer.
Yeah.
This photographer should be canceled.
And the photographer's got the greedy
And the
paws.
photographer's in charge of the timeline, so you're not at fault.
So yeah,
at
you
all.
are not at fault. It was not your fault.
This
Like,
photographer showed up to the timeline.
I used to work for this photographer as the videographer. Yeah.
Used to.
Yeah.
Probably their last wedding.
Should have capitalized. Yeah. Used to. This is the last one.
But like seriously, in 6 hours, I'm also that paranoid that every time, like during the getting ready, I feel like I'm double checking the timeline, just
Mhm.
kind of through conversation here and there.
do you get anxiety before wedding day? Like the wedding night, the night before?
I don't get anxiety in general that often. I used to get a little sweaty.
Physically sweaty.
Yeah,
Like
before
sweaty
like,
palms?
on the
What?
drive to the wedding.
Really?
But like I haven't felt that way in probably 5 years.
That's good.
Yeah,
Like sweaty palms or like sweaty like just
just
sweaty.
like yeah, I just feel like you just feel like when you feel hot,
Yeah.
and you don't you look sweaty, but you feel like you're just like hot in the face.
Yeah.
I used to get that a lot. It went away pretty quickly with LDS weddings because I was like, oh, this is
Rinse
like
and repeat.
the
Yeah.
easiest thing I've
Easy.
ever done in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
But then after that, yeah. But then I don't know. And I know people disagree with this take, but every wedding really is the same. I'm not saying every single wedding ever. I'm just saying
It's
like
unique to you.
when you're
but
in
it's
like
the
a
same.
market, like we were, and we were kind of doing the same ish wedding every single time.
Right.
And I really loved just like my flow back then. Like I just had a great flow, and it was
Mhm.
always just rinse and repeat. And so yeah. Do you?
I only, I do, only if it's like an earlier wedding, like we have to be somewhere at like 9. I
Okay, yeah,
stare
yeah,
at my
yeah,
alarm
yeah.
clock a million times and making sure it says AM
Mhm.
because I just keep looking at it and I have to look at my wife and say, Kayla, does this say AM or PM?
Yeah.
Does I say 7 AM?
Okay.
I,
Oh, so you get a little bit tweaky.
I am so scared of missing an alarm.
Yeah.
Like I set 50 million alarms, like
Yeah.
701, 702,
Yeah.
703, just all the way
which
down.
is smart.
But it's just like I can't go to bed because remember these like random weekdays that we'll have where your alarm just doesn't go off?
I went today actually. I was taking my parents to the airport.
Is
my
that an
alarm didn't
iPhone
go
thing?
off.
It just
I don't
doesn't
know.
go off.
It went off, but there was no sound.
Yeah.
So I woke up to a screen and I was like, "Wake up!" And I was like,
And you're like, oh, you've been going off
Yeah.
for 2 hours. That terrifies me
Yeah.
of happening on a wedding day.
"Yeah."
Oof.
But I do feel like in our last 2 years, we've never had an early start except for Venice.
Oh, the 23-hour day.
Yeah. But I feel like most of our
It
weddings,
wasn't
it's
really
like
an early start. It was
it's
just stay
usually
awake.
yeah, yeah. But I feel like our most like I can't think of a wedding recently where it hasn't been like the earliest has been like 11 a.m.
Yeah. No, you're
maybe
right.
1
Yeah, you're right.
because our weddings have been ending later recently
Yeah.
since we've kind of been in this new market.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. I'd say also about anxiety, I think I get more stressed about leaving my wife than I do about the wedding I'm going to
That's
do.
fair.
Because I feel like I'm just walking into work,
Yeah.
but I just hate every single time
Just
for
leave it.
7 years, just
See you later.
walking out the door. I hate it.
Yeah. Especially with traveling too.
Yeah.
Traveling's tough. It's like, all right,
Mhm.
gone for a couple days. See ya.
Yeah. And so I don't know, like if my anxiety's gotten worse, I just think my heart has been more and more at home over
Yeah.
7 years. And so now I feel like at a wedding, and this is so mean to say, because I don't mean it to my couples. I just mean it as it's just a job.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been some weddings this year, especially where my heart's not there.
Just want to go home.
I'm doing my best work as best
Right.
I can, but like I definitely am just like, I don't want to be here,
Mhm.
which is sad.
But I think everyone feels it.
Yeah. And it's not every wedding. It's just like there's some weekends where, it's just
Mhm.
harder to leave than others. Yeah.
And an answer to that is, well, like what if you were a husband-wife team, right? Because there are
I
a lot of
know.
husband-wife teams.
Yeah.
I like, and I'm sure you
Tell
feel the
Kayla
same
to
way.
get it out.
No, I mean, Kayla does want to film too, but it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know if I could ever be a husband-wife team. Like
Yeah.
just,
What is that?
I don't know. It's just kind of like a different dynamic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'd be able to turn off work mode
Oh, ever.
ever. It'd just be like,
Yeah.
we're home.
We
and
should
just-
interview some husband and wife teams. On
yeah,
the
we
pod.
should.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I mean, Lindsay and Cherish do it and they love it and
Yeah.
they rock it and they've
Well,
been
we
doing
were
it for a
talking to
long
Emily
time.
and Dryden at the cruise,
Yeah.
Wild in Rome, about this, and they've never had to deal working with a photographer or videographer.
Ever.
So whenever those hot takes come about, like the war between photographers and videographers, they're like, we can't relate to that because we only work together, and they don't ever allow it to be any other way. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome for them.
It's awesome, yeah.
But I agree. That's an interesting take.
I just don't know how
turning off work mode throughout the week.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then do you bring up like work stuff if you're in an argument?
I don't know.
Like you did the dishes. Well, you didn't book that wedding last week. You blew the consultation call. You know what I mean?
We
Does that
are
come
running out of money
Yeah.
because of you.
Could you re-vacuum the room? Maybe color grade better? I just wonder if that comes up.
Does it? I don't know.
So
I
fun.
don't know. But yeah, I just don't know how I would separate it.
Yeah.
So
I think it would be cool to involve Kenzie and Kayla in
Yeah,
the
it would be
business.
cool, yeah.
Like Kenzie would love to do like leads and stuff. Like handle all of our emails and network with planners and things.
Yeah.
Like she would love that.
yeah.
I think that would be like the extent of how much I would love to have my wife be like.
Spouse.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be an area though, at least me personally, where it's just like I'm not like overseeing. It's kind of like a different department where it's just like
You want
she
to be
can
her boss.
I don't want to be like the boss. I don't want her to have
Women
to be
have
like,
worked too hard for us to reverse
yeah,
their
no.
progress.
Again, not to get political here. I mean, we've already touched on the border.
My wife is my property.
We're
Just
we're
kidding.
touching. This is all jokes.
Yeah. I am her boss, whether she works for me or not. Joking. I gotta say joking really quick so Tanner doesn't clip the full thing.
Jake's new phrase. Jake finds these phrases. They cycle through probably like every 6 weeks, and he'll find a phrase, and it applies to every sentence. And the current one is maybe the worst because it's just.
I got it from my brother-in-law, but I'm joking.
I'm joking, which allows him to say the most out-of-pocket things, but just, I'm joking.
I'm joking.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's been nice. It's been nice to kind of just let loose some honest opinions I've had and just be able to go,
Some honest opinions.
Nothing I've said today has been an honest opinion. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
But yeah, no, different department. So like if we ever did bring up work, she'd be like, oh, like this happened. And I'd be like, oh, tell me about it. I had no idea, sort of thing.
Not to say they couldn't run the business.
Right. Wait, what? wait, what did I just agree?
Never mind.
No, we're not. Yeah, no, I'm just saying like we run the business. We run Runway Vows. So if we,
I just want to be so sexy.
what are you trying?
Because we're men. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood today.
Can't believe my reputation is also on this podcast. If
Guys,
Runway
I am
Vows,
not that guy.
if Runway Vows goes under, and I need to find a
fun
new
of those
job,
guys. I'm making fun of those men. That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I know.
My wife has had a much more successful career than I have had.
I actually, I know you guys laugh at me when I say this, but I'm reading this book right now.
Do we laugh at you when you read books?
Sam does. He's like, "Oh, you read this book?" It's like, "Well, yeah, because I'm smarter than you."
Sam can't read. Those things I don't say I'm joking about, by the way. What book?
It's called A Better Man, and it's a mostly serious letter to my son. And it's not what I expected, because I found it from this other recommendation, that and the vibe of the book is completely different. It's like a very left wing, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind of like he has a lot of different viewpoints than I share.
Gotcha.
But it was funny. He started talking about, and I was only reminded of this because he started talking
My sexist comments.
No, it's just like
we're
making
joking.
fun of those dudes who are just like so stuck in the Stone Age of like, yeah, we're men, we do this and this. And he made this whole chapter argument about manhood and dietary choices, like the things you eat and how people try to label that as manly. Like if you get a coffee with oat milk versus just black coffee, that says something about your manhood. You know,
I don't
guns and stuff and that. It's like, it was pretty funny. That was the only reason. It was just, he was just making fun of just all the idiots who think they can just define.
Like men who drink frappuccinos.
Yeah. He was like, what makes that less of a man than if you drink black coffee?
Well, I'm just kidding.
Jake.
No, it's interesting. No.
I'm joking.
So wait, do you like this book?
I wouldn't say I'm trying to spend more time with things that make me a little shaken, a little uncomfortable, you could say. It challenges me.
I think it's healthy to explore both sides of any argument.
Yeah. No, it challenges me. Like that's why I brought up those questions to Sam. Do you remember about the NRA?
Oh yeah.
Because that was one of the things that he shared.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it on a different
Yeah.
podcast. But anyway, yeah.
No, that's not what I need to be better about is not being quick to gaslight my belief as a fact and really try to listen first to like a completely opposite viewpoint of
Yeah.
me and say like, okay, like you're not some crazy psycho
Right. Crazy
lunatic. Like
TikTok
you
comment
believe what
person.
you believe because you
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
And
a good
even
way
this
of putting
weekend, actually, I was humbled by my brother-in-law. He we have great discussions about politics and things, and we won't get political here.
For the third time.
But we have great discussions, and what my brother-in-law's strength is that he is very, very good at understanding both sides of every
I
argument.
feel like he is good at that.
And he's very proud that he won't vote Republican or Democrat just because that's what
Mhm.
he should as like his belief system. He's like, no, I will hear both candidates out, and he likes things from both people, which I really admire because I definitely tend to get more heated on a topic I
Yeah.
believe in,
Right.
and that limits me from understanding the other person on many issues. But one of the topics we were talking about was just like the America First agenda. About like presidents in history who have put America first versus being an ally first and putting money towards other countries, even if we need it more, yada, yada, yada. And so I've always kind of been like an America first guy.
Right.
Like I think
Keep
in
it
my
all
mind,
America, yeah.
logically, it made sense. Shouldn't our leaders take care of the citizens? And he agrees, but then he also kind of posed a question and I was like, wow. And it was kind of about, I think it was President Truman, who basically said like the Spider-Man quote, essentially, if you have great
More
power, you have great
comes with
responsibility.
responsibility.
And if we can help, we should help. And he said it much more meaningful. And it was just like, I was like, man, like, because we'd always argue about it for like a year.
Mhm.
And then he's kind of put it in a way I was like, made me think for the first time about like, oh. And then immediately I was like, well, what other topics, especially like in business, am I like quick to judge people on? Because I think like, no, like this, because I believe this, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Like objectively, it's not. It's a belief, you know?
Right.
And so, anyway, nothing to do with politics. I was trying to use a political discussion. I had to prove a point about listening better.
No, it's good. Yeah, I feel like your brother-in-law is really good at that.
Yeah, he is.
He
Yeah.
likes that.
Yeah.
He likes that stuff.
Yeah.
I learned something new from him every time I talk to him.
But then we just did this Facebook discussion in our group, and I asked like, "What do you want to outsource?" And some of the comments, I was like, quick to be like, you know, just like,
Why?
well, because I don't do that. Here's
Yeah.
why. It's like, no,
Right.
because then my next argument was like, everyone's business is different.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, well, I almost just contradicted myself there.
Mm.
All to say,
Which begs the question.
if you miss a ceremony, you're fired.
Which begs the question, why do we bother teaching anything?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just, and we talked about this the other day
Yeah. There's no
about
right way.
that TikToker, and we won't give them a platform here, went viral for something horrible. And because we gave it, and I'm saying we as a
Right.
TikTok user, whatever,
Community.
gave them more and more views
Ugh.
by blowing it up as controversy, it led them to fame.
Yeah.
And they're set
Can't
up for the
stand it.
next few years
Yeah.
until they can think of how to be relevant again.
People could not figure out how to not be nosy.
But that's on us.
They just needed they just needed to poke into everyone's business.
Yeah. And then I see these accounts, and that's just kind of scary. And I'm actually writing a dissertation on this that I'm going to make a 90-minute YouTube video about. But it's
90
like,
minute?
It's going to be like a 90-minute thing.
You're making a movie.
I'm gonna do like a long form discussion piece,
Okay.
just for my personal channel. And I was like, but the base is like, how dangerous of a meta is it if social media is turning into whoever has the most controversial take,
Oh yeah.
or put that aside, whoever can trigger their audience wins.
And I would say not even trigger them, but trigger them into like a very strong emotional reaction.
Yeah.
Because people can get like the same amount of comments, but if
Mhm.
one's crowd is like way more heated or emotionally attached,
Yeah,
they are more dangerous, I'd say.
I agree.
More likely to act.
Yeah,
Which can be for good or bad. If it's to
Yeah.
sell something good and like make like whatever. But if it's to like
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
And especially just because we're in a presidential election year,
Right.
it's just everything's so divisive,
Right.
just polarizing. And it's and I don't know if you ever watched the what's that amazing Netflix documentary about social media called from 4 years ago? It's like mid-COVID.
Oh, shoot.
It was at Sundance.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Anyway,
I don't remember.
I'll find it. We'll put a screenshot of it if we can think of it when this episode goes live.
So easy. What is the name?
Google it. But the premise was how your algorithm, and this isn't like being biased, this is just how algorithms work. Your algorithm is designed to keep you using the app, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want you to stay on the app as long as possible. They have floors of people whose only job is to make sure you stay on their app longer, right? So how do you do that? You validate people. So your algorithm is designed, and you could say it came from a place of good intention to feed you things that you're interested in. So based on what you like, what you comment on, it gives you more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if all you see now are things that validate your beliefs and what you like? You think the world revolves around you, and you think everybody out there, even though it may be a small community,
Mm-hmm.
thinks and believes like you do, because that's your algorithm is trained to make you feel validated.
Right.
So when you see something opposite, you just think, oh, interesting. I want to learn more about that viewpoint. But now it's like, you're crazy.
You're
You're
an
stupid.
extremist.
Yeah.
Everyone's labeled an
Yeah.
extremist now because it's different than what they think.
And so now it's for me, it's kind of scary to see social media at its core. I'm not talking about like posting weddings. I'm talking about like the main form of consumption on social media
Mm-hmm.
is just who can get clicks and views, what gets clicks and views, controversy.
Yeah. The social
Scary.
dilemma. That's what it's called.
Social
The
dilemma.
social dilemma.
Guys, must watch.
So good.
Kind of a weak ending.
Very weak ending. Yeah. But
Like most documentaries.
but-
The call to action usually sucks.
yeah.
It was kind of like, use your phone less.
Yeah. First hour was good.
Turn off
Last
notifications.
half hour was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But fascinating concept.
Yeah. From that documentary, I always remember you can try all you want to get rid of social media and not be a part of it, but like you have a little brain and you're working against billions of dollars that are trying to hijack it.
Scary.
I always remember that. It's like,
Yeah.
it really is just like a gambling addiction, just slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, social media, I still believe is just a neutral thing. It's neutral. It is what you make of it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's really easy to just be down one rabbit hole and one rabbit hole only.
Mm-hmm. I set a new goal today to lower my screen time average for the week.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
iPhone needs to screw their head on their shoulders.
What do you mean?
This new update, I'm signed up for the beta
Oh,
updates.
yeah.
And previously I had...
All I saw is that you can control your flashlight beam.
it's pretty stupid.
That's all I saw.
And like the texting reactions are different,
Oh, that looks
Which,
cool.
yeah, kind of cool. Yeah, we use those all the time.
Yeah.
And we just taught Cherish how to use some.
We did. What a
We did
boomer.
something.
Or millennial, I guess.
Yeah, she's gonna love the new update, man. But no, I had previously set my screen time for Instagram to be 15 minutes. Okay, just enough time for me to like get on if I have
Check
to post
DMs,
something, like done. And my goal is to never hit like ignore, but 15 minutes is more than enough. Okay, but with this new update, they have a screen time issue, only screen time issue, and you can't override it and you can't delete it.
Funny you said, because I was going to like, they need to fix how easy it is to ignore screen time.
So
they fixed it.
I'm kind of grateful. No, but like you can't.
He's an
even-
addict.
You can't. I'm shaking over
It's
here.
like, I set limits for myself, and Apple's holding me accountable to them. What is this?
Yeah. So in a way, I've been thankful for it because I'm like, oh yeah, I can only have 15 minutes a day max to be on Instagram.
Yeah.
But if we post something or if I need to be on, it bites me in the butt. But yeah, you can't
Or if someone
override it.
sends you a meme
Yeah.
or 20 memes.
Yeah. There have been some times like when you send me 20 memes
20.
where I'm halfway responding through. And then when I stop responding, it's because screen time kicked me out
Well,
and I can't get back
I
in.
appreciate the reaction.
So thank you, Apple, but maybe fix the bug.
Yeah.
But also make it harder to get back in. So weird little paradox here.
Yeah, I think what they should do is like allow you to like put like a memo, like a goal reminder, and say, hey, reminder, this is your goal. Do you want to break it? So kind of guilt trip you into hitting the ignore,
It'd
not
be
just
like-
ignore.
It'd be like a weight loss app where it's just like every time you're logging food, it just gives you a picture of your album.
Wow, really?
Are you sure you want to eat this?
No, if my food tracker app Because I usually like, if you, like, I use Lose It, and if when I submit a food, it says like, careful, this food's high in sugar, or great job, this food's high in protein.
Yeah, it's a good app. Yeah.
But I just wish, like, what if like when I logged like a Snickers bar, it said, really?
Are we about to make an app?
Wow.
Are we about
Like,
to make an app?
that's
Jake?
it?
Are we about to make the most toxic app?
Or just, yikes. Wow.
Yikes! You want to eat that? Sure.
Ready for some body shaming? And then just sends you like, these photos that you've submitted.
Your own
like,
photos.
Like, yeah, day one progress pic that they said, like, this will be good for you to look back on. And now it's like, this is you.
You see your day one progress.
We should.
That's a great idea. Low key.
Trademarked.
Trademark.
The guys who stole Landon's app idea, we have already trademarked
Yeah.
this, so screw you.
I bet everyone else is listening to this like, these guys are talking nonsensically for the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, Cherish is the only one who makes it to the end.
Cherish, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next
Sure.
written by you? I
right.
forgot it was written by you series.
All right, last story, then we'll end this podcast. How did we get into the America First
Everything?
agenda from
Just
missing
life.
a wedding ceremony in Mexico? Crazy.
Probably something about your border comment.
From a videographer. This is actually in the vendor nightmare category, which
Love
I think
vendor
might be
nightmares.
my favorite
Vendor
categories.
Nightmares is a good one.
Because I always love to flip it back on the submitter.
Yeah.
Submitter.
This kid's 15 years old, though. Take it easy.
Watch me.
Welcome to the world.
Yeah, welcome to adulthood, kid. I'm 15 years old, and this was my very first wedding ever. The day was going great. Come ceremony time, I had just finished filming first looks with the father and the bride. I was heading to the ceremony spot, which was an eternity away. That's the worst.
Yeah.
They started as soon as I got there, and I had no system for my audio recorder. Good thing I had the groom mic'd. I started filming, and about halfway through the ceremony, I looked down, and my camera screen said that my card was full, and I didn't have a backup card on me. So I quickly ran through some previous footage that I had shot earlier and deleted it, then had enough storage on the card to finish the ceremony. Right after I started filming, my gimbal died. I quickly took my camera off the gimbal and went handheld and somehow got the kiss. I was more nervous than a cat at a dog show. But I imported the footage and it all somehow turned out great. You are an old soul if you're 15 years old and you say I was more nervous than a cat at a dog show. I love this story. You speak better than some of the adults on our podcast.
Thank you.
Excellent
Genuinely
punctuation.
thank you.
I can tell you are excelling in your studies, in your high school experience. Keep it up.
Going to Oxford.
Quit videography and go to Oxford
Yes,
or Yale. It'll set you up for life better.
Please.
You don't see any rich people
Don't BS.
retired who filmed weddings for a living.
No. They work till they die.
You have to swindle people into education. That's the that's the only way to make it. Okay, this
All right.
this is hard to
This
hear.
one hurt.
Because I felt for
Yeah,
this kid
I did too.
for my first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Brought up a story. I remember one of my weddings was in Georgia with you. We missed a first look
We did?
because of this situation.
Who's?
It was a last minute, wasn't on the calendar. First look with the bride and the brother. And right after, minute after, was the ceremony across the property.
Georgia. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember who this
So the
was.
bride was going from the first look,
Uh-huh.
Olivia, from the first look to walking down the aisle. And
Wow.
I don't know why we didn't just send one of
There's
us.
two of us. Yeah. I don't know
But
what
we
we're
hadn't
doing.
shot so many details yet. Like guests were about to pull up. So it was all happening in the same 5 minutes. And I don't blame the bride or the timeline. It just was like a moment. And I felt bad, but we followed the timeline. We went to the ceremony and we got set up. And by literally when we were putting cameras on, the processional started. So it was literally photo
I
finish.
do
But
remember that. Yeah.
I feel bad because
Yeah.
we missed the brotherly first look. The
The-
photographer got it.
The wedding turned out great. The
Yeah.
film, but yeah, we still missed
She
that
was
moment.
very understanding.
Yeah, still missed that moment.
Yeah. Didn't hold it against me at all.
That's hard because
But this is the father first look.
yeah,
Brothers.
But at the same time, and it's his first wedding, so cutting him some
A
slack.
lot
of
of slack
course,
here.
right?
Tons of slack.
Usually now, if there is something like that, like we're checking locations, we're checking venues and times. If we see something is that far away, like usually we'll try to bring it up with like a planner, say,
Yeah.
or there's two of us. There's two of us,
Yeah.
and we will split up. That's what we do
Right.
first. If we're not going to be able to split up, like that needs to be addressed because you can't be in two places at once, and the couple needs to be aware of that. And the planner, I'd say, like most planners are going to be totally chill if you're just
Yeah.
like, hey, like I need to be.
But I bet 15 years old, first wedding,
True.
doesn't have the awareness to look at a timeline and know that because there's
Yeah.
no experience to
If
base
they
it
even
off
had
of.
a timeline before the day
Yeah.
of the wedding.
But also, like, I guess we'll take this as like an opportunity to give feedback for future weddings.
Mhm.
Mentally, you just need 5 minutes
You do.
before a ceremony to just kind of like check the gimbal,
Yep.
check your card, check
Yep.
your battery,
Yep.
change your battery. Like, you just need 5 minutes
Yeah.
to just kind of like breathe and wait for the processional to start.
Yeah. And what one of our friends does, Andrew Guilford, he shoots a lot solo. He has like 9 tripods. And so he'll show up way early to the venue of where the ceremony is happening,
Mhm.
and he'll just set his tripods there. Even if it's like way too early.
And I also think Andrew over communicates
Mhm.
his needs
Mhm.
probably better than most people.
Yeah.
Because of how he shoots weddings.
Yeah. So that way, if he is running late, he just runs to his tripods,
Yeah.
throws them on real quick, and we're good to go.
Yeah. We've been trying to do it behind the scenes with Andrew for a year now.
Yeah.
He shoots like it's an art. He just
Yeah.
has his system, doesn't stray
Shoot
from it,
solo.
and just dials it in every
Yeah.
single wedding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is tough though. This is hard. Going
Deleting-
through and deleting clips
Ah.
live, that'd be stressful.
And I mean, it's during the ceremony too, so you can't like watch them all the way through. You have to be like, yep, this one's less important.
I also
gone.
bet you were filming start and stop during the ceremony. I doubt he filmed the whole ceremony start to finish. From what it sounds like.
yeah.
You wouldn't have enough storage.
Yeah.
But yeah, also another reason. So, word of advice: Nate carries a little shoulder.
Little sling
It's very
bag.
minimal. It's not like this bulky backpack. It's a very minimal shoulder sling.
Yeah.
And inside is our card case and 2 extra batteries
Yep. Some audio
and some other
things.
stuff. But
Yep.
like
Some
that,
dash
just in
cams.
case, like I need a card, need a battery.
Yep.
Nate always has it on.
Yep.
him.
So yeah, the
Yeah.
little sling pack, the nomadic
Mhm.
sling pack. We'll
Yeah.
link that. But
Also, if your gimbal's dying by the ceremony,
yeah,
that shouldn't be happening.
I wonder what gimbal is. Probably one of those
Zion.
Zion.
They just reached out to us for a
Oopsie.
sponsor. I guess we lost that sponsor. Maybe Weeble.
Well, that is Zion.
Oh.
We're never working with Zion.
Wow. Sorry, guys. Work on your reputation, I guess. I'm just kind of passing through the grapevine here. That's what I hear. We're on the street.
Oh, yeah. Gimbals? I mean, what's that other company? Yeah, no, we're just throwing out random companies.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, it probably was in all reality.
Yeah.
Or
Osmo. No, those things last days.
yeah,
It's on my phone.
yeah. Or what happened to me and Will? The power just went out in the middle of the night, and
Oh,
something,
yeah. Didn't
something
get the
just-
charge.
Yeah, but I'd say that's a rare case.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, kid. This is a tough one. That hurts.
Sorry, kid. You made that very endearingly.
Sorry, kid. Sucks to suck, but you'll learn. Live and you learn. Hey,
that was
stress.
tough.
But hey, you got the first kiss, though. That's
Yeah.
important.
And you got your first wedding shoot.
Also, though, okay, this actually reminds me of that one story a while ago. Someone's camera died during the ceremony, and they brought the whole tripod over.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that story?
yeah, I do remember that.
Both of us were disgust. Yeah, stupid. No, they did fine. But what the mad props I give to this 15-year-old kid, if you're listening, props to you. Adaptability.
Yeah,
This kid adapted like
this kid's going
crazy.
places.
He started deleting footage. I probably would have stressed and just ran
Yeah,
to get into the card.
and then maybe missed.
Yeah. But he just adapted, deleted some pointless shots because for your first wedding, you're overshooting.
Yeah.
Probably plenty of pointless shots. And then gimbal dies, just
Yeah.
quickly goes handheld, gets the shot. Great job.
Great job
Yeah.
adapting.
Yeah. And now you know what to
Good on you.
how to prep for that so that never happens again.
Yep. And have multiple cameras.
That's all you
multiple
can hope
cards.
for. Yeah. That's all you
Yeah.
can like really do in live event videography is just like, what just happened? Why did it go wrong? How can I make sure that never happens again?
That's the sucky part
Yeah.
is you have to learn through the most painful
Mhm.
experiences.
Yeah. Contracts grow after a wedding, not before the wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, great discussion.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not some anti-immigration, anti-woman man. I'm making fun of those people, if anything.
But he can say some incredibly anti-immigration,
Full transparency. Okay,
misogynistic,
full transparency.
But if he follows it with "I'm joking," it's okay.
Usually means I'm telling the truth. I'm joking.
I'm joking.
Full transparency. I think we're a close enough community.
I think so. We have like 100
I
listeners.
think so. This year, with the presidential election, I've committed myself to be as more educated than I've ever been
Good for
on
you.
policies.
Good.
And so I'm learning both sides, learning both candidates, pros and cons, which there are many on both sides.
Gosh.
But mainly focusing on policy and pros and cons, and also just like history of policy,
Yeah.
which has been fascinating.
You want to know? There's something on Netflix right now. It's called The Turning Point. I think I think it's just called The Turning Point. And I was watching that the other day when I was gravenly ill with this illness that we contracted in Europe. And it showed a lot of clips of JFK and Ronald Reagan, and listening to them both, the differences between what they were saying, it wasn't so stark. Like JFK was sitting here, he Democrat, saying like, beef up the military, America first, like we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I was listening to that, like, what am I listening to? It was, and hearing Reagan, Reagan was not even close to like the rhetoric that's on the right now. It's just like, what happened?
It's almost that they were
Where
both.
did we go?
And guys, please say this generally. It's almost that they were both very libertarian, with a few policy points
That would
that
be on
went
one
left
side.
or right.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that just kept growing. The gap kept growing, and so now you don't want your policies to be anything like the other side.
Right. It has to be completely
Right.
different.
But anyway, so that's why it's fresh on my mind. So because I'm studying politics this last few months, political things have just been part of my humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why maybe I'm taking too light of these issues, but I think it's important to understand.
I mean, I also think it's important to be able to take things lightly.
I think so too.
I think everyone's just so
yes
strung up.
The one thing I do, whether you think both sides believe this or not, I do think the most important thing, what our country fought for, free speech, and one of the candidates who I've followed, and I like a lot of his stuff, but some things, Vivek Ramaswamy says, like, I can speak my voice freely, and I will let you do the same in return.
Right.
I think that sums up everything.
Yeah.
And I think if everyone just like let and respect each other's beliefs, and not like, wow, because I believe this, you're stupid for not. If we just said, wow, I want to understand your viewpoint better,
Yeah.
we'd be a happier people.
I think we would too.
But here's what I also believe in closing, before we get to the pass, is
What do you believe?
truly, I think our country is better than the media says.
Oh, 100%.
I think for the most part, we all agree on big issues, and I think there's a fringe minority on each side that's the loudest on social media.
Yeah, I completely agree. There was a time on Instagram threads and Twitter, places that are just built to spark
X.
debate. I guess X, formerly Twitter, you know. I think these platforms that are built upon having debates are the most toxic places, like the lousiest places you can spend your time, because it's only people trying to throw out these terrible arguments, and everyone is so angry the whole time. And there was a time during, this was probably like a month ago, some policy, I don't remember, but everyone on Threads was like, that's it, I'm moving to Europe. Europe's the greatest country ever, or continent, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to Europe. And then there were other questions like, what's the worst country on earth? Everyone's like, the United States, can't say. It's like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
This country is a lot better if you just get outside and talk to people.
Get off your phone.
Yeah.
And same thing. Yeah.
I'm trying to stop reading comments because I'm happier when I stop reading comments, actually.
Me too. No, yeah, I've actually made a conscious effort this year to not open the comments.
But also, I'm not reading comments so I don't change my mind that easily. Because have you ever been watching a TikTok video and you watch it? Yeah, down. If you ever been watching a TikTok video or Instagram or whatever, and you form an opinion like, oh, I can't believe he did that, or like she's doing this, I can't believe they reacted that way, and you have this whole, solution in your mind and how you're perceiving it, and then you open the comments and it's the exact opposite
with
of what you were thinking.
120,000 likes on that one comment, you're like,
oh, duh, I guess I am
you're
wrong.
like, yeah, that what they said, yeah,
and it completely changes the way you think about it, and then you watch it again, you're like, oh, duh. It's like, I think it's taking away people's ability to actually think for themselves.
have a spine.
Yeah, like think, have a brain.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I open comments for memes because memes are only funny because of the comments.
That's true. I'll read comments on memes.
And truly, humanity's darkest side is in the comment section of memes.
It really is.
You think we're doing pretty well morally, and then you open those, you're like, wow, Did not think that
Just
could be
kidding.
a public
Wow.
statement.
Yeah, I can't believe
Yeah.
people post this stuff.
Anyway,
Anyway, if you've made it this
To
far
the
in our
pass.
podcast, we are officially in the pass.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where we cook up some dishes, make sure they're good to go out.
corner.
Corner. All right, Jake, I'm going to ask you this question.
I need hands.
Okay. I need hands.
Have you watched season 3 yet?
I'm in the middle of it. Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
I'm loving it, though. I really like it.
Also,
'Kay.
this shirt brings out your eyes.
Is it really?
You look really hot.
I wore it just for
Yeah.
you. Third angle for that one. All right, Jake, let me ask you a question
Good.
here. Pricing transparency.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the debate whether videographers or
Also cherished
photographers-
like the past, so
So we're going to always do it. In fact, we'll probably rename this to just the pass.
the cherish pass.
The cherished.
Cherish your pass.
Okay, pricing transparency. This is the debate over whether videographers or photographers should publicly list their prices or keep them flexible based on the client's budget in the wedding scope. Yeah, take a swig right into that mic.
All right. I think your starting price should always be on your website.
Okay.
Non-negotiable. Until you get to a point where you are only exclusively working with a few planners.
And because they know your prices.
Like and none of you should ever have to worry about that because that's like the top 1%,
right.
right? And realistically, none of us will ever be in the top 1%.
East-West films, yeah.
Yeah, like when you're only working with a small handful of planners who always use you, and your website really is more of a placeholder than it is like a marketing tool.
Mm-hmm.
Because for us, our website is a marketing tool. It's a landing page to convert a lead into a sale,
Mm-hmm.
right? Same with Instagram. That's what it should. Instagram's job for us is to get them to our landing page.
Mm-hmm.
Where we'll convert a lead, planner, bride, into a sale client. So with that being the case, if that is the purpose of your website, what I just said, then yes, I think your starting price point should be on your website. If your website isn't a marketing tool and it's just there, I don't think it matters. I do think there's danger in having your whole packages on your
Mhm.
website because I
Mhm.
think you lose the opportunity to open a conversation with a client
Mm-hmm.
because we know oftentimes people are willing to spend more. Not that we're trying to hustle them to dropping more money,
Right.
but
Right.
they just don't know. Usually it's their first wedding. They don't know what they don't know. And so they think, oh yeah, our budget's kind of, $4 to $5K. And they end up dropping 8 or 9 on us because they just kind of, they start to learn the value of video.
Mm.
And I think if we would have had our package on our website at 8K, we would have never had that conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we said 4K, we would have missed out on more money, which is sad for everyone.
The reason we're doing this.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about this, and on our website we have the ranges, right? We have, I think, select your
website needs
budget.
to be updated. Yeah.
It's like 5 to 10, 10 to 15.
Oh yeah, in the contract
15
form.
plus.
Yeah.
Or
That's
yeah,
on the
in the
contract form,
contract
yeah.
form. Yeah, you're right. I guess that's a completely different
Mhm.
thing then. Yeah. Yeah, this goes back to, I think we talked about this briefly on like a pricing yourself episode. I do have an issue with people gouging their prices.
Yeah,
Simply because it's there.
That's the other side of the same coin.
Right. But that's not to say you're not valid if you charge $30,000 for a wedding. We posted this on our Facebook group, and Cherish, we've mentioned her a lot in this episode.
She's
Cherish,
just the best.
we feel like you're here in the room with us.
Cherish, you will be here one day. Right.
Right.
Cut to wide.
Smack
Right
dab in
here.
the center.
We'll all just hold hands and just ask you questions.
And then Lindsay's going to feed us questions,
Lindsay will be on the roadcaster in the back.
mixing it up.
Camera one. Go on.
No, so we asked a question about pricing and how it's kind of broken down, because there's this mentality of like, I'm worth, $20,000, $10,000 a day. I won't take anything lower than that. It's like, no, we're not really. It's an easy job what we do. And Cherish broke it down really easy and said, no, I'm $1,500 a day, which is a very fair rate.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay is $1,500 a day, very fair rate.
This is a public comment, by the way.
This is a
right?
public
Okay.
comment, yeah. And then she said, well, we're doubling that for our production company. So just to have me and
Because
my
they're
husband there.
employees of Larev.
Exactly. So
We do the same thing.
your company needs to make money too. So
Mhm.
Cherish and Lindsay both make money. Their production company makes money. So just to have both of them there for one day,
Because
just to shoot.
newsflash, they have different bills than their company does.
Exactly.
So both should be being paid.
Right.
Onward.
And so just to have them there for one day, instantly that's just $6,000. And then if they're shooting a
Which is what we do.
multi-day wedding, which they usually do, like a 3-day wedding, just them there for 3 days is $18,000. Yeah, 6, 12, 18.
Yeah.
$18,000. Okay. And then they book travel.
They make their day rate for 3 days.
Right.
And so does the company.
Exactly. And then they have travel on top of that. They have other expenses, and it comes out to 30 plus grand. And it's very easy to see where it came from.
Pause.
Yeah.
They we do the same thing. Well, we're trying to do the same thing now. I won't speak for them, but just because I'm only working 2 hours at the welcome dinner or 2 hours at the brunch the next day for coverage, I still have to tell other clients and block off my entire day.
That's another thing, yeah.
So that's still my day rate, right?
Right.
And you could say, well, maybe it won't be 1,500. Maybe I'll do 1,000 because, you know, it's really just up to your personal business practices.
Right.
But that's the principle, is that you're still, if another client wanted to come along in that same area where you could have done a whole another day of a wedding
Right.
and made more, you have to be compensated for that,
Right.
even if you're only working an hour at a brunch.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Anyway.
and so it was really refreshing to just see it broken down. It's just compartmentalized very neatly in where that's going. The problem is some people think I won't leave the house because I'm worth $5,000 a day.
You're not.
Not even talking about their production company or anything. It's just them. Like you're not worth $5,000 a day. And so they see this big budget come in. Like, let's say they don't list their prices.
People who have won Oscars for cinematography in Hollywood don't get paid $5,000 a day.
It's true. It's true.
It's a whole other thing about pair disparities in Hollywood.
But so they'll see, they won't list their prices publicly, and they'll see a big budget, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, all of a sudden I'm worth that much.
That's slimy to me.
It's slimy. Like, but yeah, some people are gonna say, well, like, you want to make money, right? It's like, of course, but at the same time, it's just a little slimy. I think that's a little slimy.
Okay, so let's talk about this then. Let's say you charge $2,000 to film a wedding. Client comes to you and says, I have $6K.
I would build
Are
a
you
package.
honest? Okay,
I would build a package, and that's kind of like why we do it. We put a budget. We put $5,000 to $10,000 range, 10 to 15, 15 plus. So that way, if someone comes to us with like a $15,000 plus package, we build out something that is of that form. If they're just like, oh no, sorry, we were just like looking for a 4-hour elopement, we're like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
But we'll be like, no, this is this many days of coverage, this long of an edit, right?
Yeah, I think integrity is crucial in this business.
Yeah.
And I think, and I've said it before, yeah, like if you're wanting to spend $8K, and let's say the client wants to spend $8K, and let's say you charge $4,000, that's twice as much as you think you're worth, your company and you. What Nate's saying is like, okay, well, how can I make my package more valuable for this person? Okay, maybe I'll add a second shooter,
Right.
and right away that second shooter cost should go up to $1,000, maybe even more. Pay them, and your company should have a managerial fee. It's like, okay, maybe this is like a bigger portfolio piece. I'm gonna outsource this edit.
Right.
I'm gonna pay an editor.
Right.
Or I'm actually gonna maybe buy a drone, or I'm gonna give them 2 extra hours of coverage for what they need. Or
Right.
usually you make it so that you're not price gouging, or not price gouging.
Inflating.
Yeah, inflating your prices because they have more money, but you're making you more valuable by giving them more. So the client gets more for what they're paying for. And then if they come back and say, yeah, I need you for 4 hours, then it is your job to be integral and honest and say, I can't bloat that, right? I can't add more value based on what you're asking for,
Right.
and it's going to cost you this much,
Yeah.
and you're actually saving some good money based on your budget. Put that money towards a good photographer, or more flowers, please.
Yeah. Seriously.
Or maybe a vendor,
Make
maybe,
it look-
perchance.
maybe vendor.
So yeah,
But yeah, I think the integrity goes the long way, like in this industry. The people who've been doing it for 20, 30 years, every single one of them that I know are very honest people.
And I've taken advantage of budgets before.
Oh, I think we all have.
Mainly in the beginning years
Yeah.
where I know I'm only worth maybe $500 to film a wedding,
Right.
but the client's like, I got $1,200. I'm like, oh my
Sure.
gosh.
Absolutely. It's part of
But I
growing
also
up.
wasn't pricing myself correctly
Right.
back then. So,
Right.
so like I was just like, wow. But then I'm not even kidding. Like going to that event and doing it for $1,200, when in my mind I was like, I'm worth $500.
Right.
It changed everything.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm gonna be worth $1,200 moving forward. How can I make sure I'm worth that?
Right.
Oh, I should probably make a better website, or I should probably buy a second camera,
Yeah.
or I should actually start using second shooters.
Yeah.
Like it's seriously, and you have to have that mindset to grow.
Mhm.
And so you can't just say, oh, like, wow, I got lucky on a $10,000 gig, I'm only worth $1,000. It's like, well,
Make it big.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is applied to a lot of our like commercial gigs. There've been bigger budgets, and it's like, okay, this is the budget they're working with, and we send them a quote, and they're like, hey, like bump it up a little bit, and so we'll be like, oh, okay, we'll bring on more people, more hours, and we'll make it worth that budget. But yeah.
So then there's the next question: are there times where you have to inflate because you have to inflate?
And yeah, I was just about to say, if somebody were to come to me and they said, I have $15,000 and I'm doing a 4-hour elopement, and I'm like, okay, I try to build something, and they're like, no, look, we kind of had something like this. Do you remember Arkansas? They paid the whole budget, and then the day of the wedding, they cut it down to like 3 hours of coverage. And they knew that, and they were fine with that. If a client comes to me and says,
because they knew we'd
they knew it was going to be
blocked off the day too.
Right.
Yeah.
If a client says, hey, I have this much, I'm going to pay you this much, and I try to build something out, and they're like, oh, no, we don't actually want that, but like, we just want this. I'll be like, okay. Like, I tried. Like, I don't know.
Here's
That's
my
kinda
hot
like what
take
I
about
feel.
that too, is that we rarely film local elopements. So our pricing for elopements is actually not that different
Right.
than a wedding, because I'm like,
It's
well,
true. It's true.
I'm still losing 3 days of my life
Yeah.
to film for 4 hours.
I think if a client does come to you with like a big budget and you know it's over, I think it is valuable if you try to tell and communicate with the client how they can save some money. Like, hey, I have
Okay,
this
but
much.
let's throw this scenario.
Yeah.
Planner, or we've had friends who told us this in their industries, where they would have lost the gig
It's
unless
true.
they just bloated their prices for no reason.
Yeah.
They already they had the quote,
Yeah.
they had the hours, they had everything dialed in,
Right.
and they said, listen, if you don't double
You
that,
won't get it.
you won't get this gig, because these clients
Yeah.
only understand money,
Yeah.
and you have to have this digit.
Yeah. No. And in that case, then
But it's almost like at that point it's like permission.
yeah, at that point it's like
Yeah.
somebody is saying, no, I know, here you go. Like you're
Right.
kind of not in charge. It's like externally
Right.
you need to raise it. And you're like, okay.
Going back to my dissertation on pricing. I have a second dissertation, by the way, on pricing.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be on our YouTube channel coming soon. Every product in the world has a cheap and a expensive version.
Are you gonna talk about Paylessy?
No, but that's actually
Yeah.
it's in there. But no, but like I'm thinking of just water. What's the most common commodity in the world? Water.
Yeah.
You have Arrowhead, then you have Voss.
Right.
And no one actually, I hope, believes Voss is better water. Right?
Well,
Like drastically for what they charge for it. You don't think I'm going to be healthier, I'm going to run faster,
sure. What
I'm
they
going to
charge
be
is,
more
It's
hydrated.
just a little taste.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know the pH levels are better.
It's a
You could
little
argue
bit of
that
taste,
every
yeah.
product,
Electrolytes.
but like for what the product is supposed to give you, hydration,
It's
you're
not,
fine drinking Kroger
Yeah,
water.
it's not $3
right,
more.
or tap water or hose water. But they've branded it to make it this luxury water.
Mhm.
And it's the experience of buying Voss and
Mhm.
having a glass bottle, and it looks really cool. And then you have Arrowhead, and
Right.
throw Arrowhead on some ice, and it's probably gonna
Right.
get the job done. So
Right.
it's just like people complain about, and I see these comments on TikTok like, "Oh my gosh, like I would never pay $500 for a photographer," and it's like, well,
Pay $6
then-
for a little cup of coffee.
yeah,
every
but
day.
you're buying Arrowhead water,
yeah.
and I'm marketing to Voss. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like,
right.
so at some point you have to understand too that your branding, your reputation, how you run your business,
Yeah.
the experience of your couples does warrant inflation
Right.
in pricing.
There are different things that
Yeah.
bring up pricing as
Yeah.
well.
But then it's on you to deliver.
Right.
And people think, and I remember I thought this for a moment 2 years ago when we made one of my vows, that luxury weddings were easier because the visuals were better,
Mm-hmm.
and it just felt like an easier thing to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
After being in this world and tasting it a little bit and being in some of our big corporate things and meeting some of these photographers
Right.
who are
Dialed in.
top,
Yeah.
hardest working people I know.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay and Cherish too, hardest working people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And it's not just the shooting, it's the networking, it's the constant being on and being the brand.
Yeah.
And I went and shot with this is a Lorev
Man.
episode.
Just gonna name it.
I went and
Lorev.
shot with Lorev. I asked to be their sticks boy at a wedding in Aspen, and they let me do it. and I remember just like, I'm like, wow, you guys are you're just nonstop shooting, and you're talking with every vendor and the planner, and like there's never like a break with them.
Right.
Like for us, we take a break,
Always on.
take a breather,
Yep.
It's like, let's go, change our batteries. It's just there's always, and they're like, no, like when we say we're there for 12
the
hours, we are
experience.
not stopping for 12 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's why you're being paid what you're being paid. And why I'm not is because you guys are locked in. And that's so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no one works harder than these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cherish, let us know.
What it would cost to get you to Utah.
Cherish and Lindsay, let us know if it is officially okay if we just call you our mentors. Just our mentors.
I call them my mentors.
Yeah, we do throw it around, but are they okay with our label of being like Runway Vows?
Yeah.
Our mentees.
Our students. Look at them grow.
Look at them talk
Proud
about
of those guys.
immigration.
Yep. That's the result of a LaRev training
Yes, sir.
101.
But no, yeah, I
But
to bring-
genuinely, LaRev has taught me more about the business than anybody else in my career.
yeah, I feel like they're the people that
Mhm.
it's like going to college and you learn something, but then you go to an internship and you actually work with somebody, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow,
yeah.
I learned more from working here for a week than 5 years.
Yeah.
That's how it is with them.
Yeah. I agree.
Now to bring things full circle, I think
What a pass.
because nothing bothers me more than when I'm shopping for something and I just want to see how much it costs, and it says,
Yes.
"Oh, email us." It's like you.
I think that's slimy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you
Email
disagree.
us.
I truly think it's slimy.
yeah,
I know why you're doing it. And maybe you're not doing it to be slimy. Maybe you're doing it to start a conversation. And you'll take any wedding, whatever the price
Mhm,
is. But I
mhm.
still think the client thinks they're going to match whatever I say.
and most recently it happened with the sweatshirts we tried to get for the workshop.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, how many people? What's your company? And like I had to provide all this stuff. Here's the quote, and it was like a couple $1,000s. And then we went somewhere else, and it was like 800 for pretty close to the same quality. I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
yeah. It's actually happened to us a lot these last 2 years.
Yeah,
We're having a luxury brand,
people try to
luxury brand, Runway
yeah,
Vows.
I think people try to
Yeah. Oh. You guys
Oh,
do
yeah.
luxury stuff. I'm like, no, we don't.
happened
actually.
happened a lot of FTF too.
Yeah,
Like,
it
oh,
did.
FTF money. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna charge this much.
Yeah.
So
But again, if Kim Kardashian's asking you to do a video and they're just swimming in money.
do you charge more?
Well, I can say that. No, never mind. I won't. Cool. Well, that was the pass. Great pass.
That was a good pass.
Yeah.
Good
Makes me
taste.
hungry when I think about kitchen analogies, though.
Yeah, we'll get something to eat after this.
No, I need to.
Needs to download that app we were talking about.
No,
No, you
I'm
don't.
committed.
You look great, Jake.
No. Actually, I lost like 15 pounds
From
this
the
month.
sickness, the
Yeah,
illness.
for being sick. I've been averaging 1 meal a day, except this last week I've been eating crazy.
Bad, good.
No, just everything. Just I'm starving,
Yeah.
and I feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went and bought 2 Fallon pints of ice cream.
That's good. That's
Ate
good
'em
stuff.
both.
That's
Didn't
good.
finish them
Did
actually.
you say
but
pints or gallon?
the pints.
Pints. Okay. I was like,
Been eating a lot, but
that's all right. Hit the weights. New PRs.
yeah, that's right.
Well, let's wrap up this
That
show.
was was probably a long episode. I have no idea how long that was.
I think that was over an hour, and we were shooting for a
Sorry,
half
guys.
hour. But I think we had some good takes in there.
Yeah.
Some controversial ones. Might get canceled. If I
not
ever
canceled.
need to get a new job, if Runaway Vows does not work out,
He's a
nothing
great
else
shooter,
will.
you guys.
No, nothing. If I ever decide to go into the tech world, this
Because of
will
Jake.
get dug up, and they will say, "Oh, what did you do? What's this 5-year gap in your resume?"
One day
Oh.
Nate's gonna run for governor of Utah. Then. What about this?
I was talking with my
What was this little
with
stint you
my
had? In
then friend and business partner.
Wait, Jake Weisler. He's been in jail for decades.
He's in jail.
Anyway,
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
join us in Morocco. Love you. Bye.
Love you, chefs.